Tell me if this sounds impossible. A deck is shuffled up, 3 cards are then selected by the spectators and instantly lost into the center of the pack, and then they're immediately found. But wait, there's more. 2 more cards are selected in the fairest way possible and lost into the deck, and yet again, they're instantly located. You may think this is just another pick a card, find a card type effect, but this level is just supreme. And if you're really into Magic, you're gonna appreciate this. Alright, yo, so check this out. For those of you who are curious, by the way, today I'm going to be using the Alex Pandrea X deck, one of my favorite tuck cases of all time, by the way. And we're going to start by giving the deck maybe just a quick little shuffle. We can give the deck a couple of cuts. And then the spectator, if they want, they can give the deck a cut as well. Just, again, to be as fair and shuffled up as possible. Now, I'm going to spread out these cards like this. And let's say we have 3 spectators, Billy, Bob, and Joe. And just for the purpose of diversity, we're going to have these cards selected from 3 different areas in the deck. So Billy's going to go ahead, select a card, let's say, somewhere from the bottom. Bob's gonna go ahead, select the card somewhere from the center, and then Joe's gonna go ahead, select the card somewhere from the top, right? As fair as can possibly be. 3 cards selected. Now, here's the thing that's not fair. Since Billy, Bob, and Joe are not actually real, you're gonna have to memorize the cards for them. So there's card number 1, take a look at that card, memorize it. There's card number 2, take a look at that card, memorize it. And there's card number 3. You, of course, know what to do, memorize that card. Now, we're going to have all these cards put together in one pile, and these are the next instructions. Billy's going to go ahead, give the deck a cut wherever he likes. Bob's going to go ahead, cut the deck wherever he likes, and then Joe's cut is something special because all he has to do is lift up the deck anywhere, take these 3 cards, put them at that location, square everything up, and then give the deck as many cuts as he'd like, right? Joe has the hardest job. Give the deck as many cuts as he's like. Now, there's a moment, actually, the second this happens, there's a moment in which the cards are still kind of warm and they're able to reveal themselves almost at an instant. So I think the cards that were selected were these 3 cards right here. At least I'm hoping it was those 3 cards, because if it wasn't, the trail has literally gone cold at this point, and we're all gonna be screwed. So, the cards selected were the 4 of Hearts, the Jack of Diamonds, and the 7 of Hearts. Now, that itself was pretty cool, but we can take this one step further. Let me spread out all the cards like this and have all these cards returned. Again, a diversity of placement, also very, very important. Put all those cards in different areas, square everything up. Now here's the thing, we don't need Joe. Joe can kind of get lost. We don't even know if we like him. Joe's gone. We just have Billy and Bob. What I want Billy to do is take off a small packet of cards on the top of this deck here, and let's say this many cards, and give this whole packet a shuffle. As Billy is doing this, I'm going to go over to Bob. Bob's going to give the deck a cut. This way I just have no idea what the top and bottom cards are. And take off, again, a small packet of cards, let's just say this many cards, and give this packet a shuffle, right? So now they both take an X number of cards off the top of the deck and shuffling those up. As soon as Billy is done giving the deck a shuffle, he's going to take a look at and memorize the bottom card, right? So take a look at this card, memorize it up. That's done. Smack it right down on the deck. And then as soon as, what's the second guy's name? Bob. As soon as Bob is done, he's going to do the exact same thing. Take a look at that card, memorize it, smash it somewhere. You know, we'll bring Joe. Everyone loves Joe. We're going to bring Joe back up. And the deck, of course, he can cut the deck. That's his job. Cut the deck as many times as pleases him. Deck has been cut. Now, here's the thing. The moment now takes a bit longer because there are a lot of extra steps involved. So give it a beat. 1, 2, 3. All right, check this out. The cards should be able to quickly reveal themselves. There's card number 1. I have to go through real quick. And card number 2, right? All right, this is it. Check this out. The first card selected right here, the King of Diamonds, and hopefully the second card selected, the 6 of Clubs. Boom. What up, crew? It is Magic Monday, and this is your place to learn Magic, master your performance, and captivate audiences. The effect I'm sharing with you today is known as Location Supreme by Harry Lorraine, and it's truly an ingenious way to locate cards. And after learning this method, you're going to be able to use it for so many more effects. It's insane. Now, before we dive right into the tutorial, make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, and get ready to fool all your friends. Now grab your favorite deck, and let's do it. And welcome to the tutorial. Just a bit more insight on this effect. I'd probably rank this around the intermediate level just because of a couple of moves that are involved, the actual performance that's needed, and the bit of a setup that's required. Bet you didn't know that, did you? Did you? So before the trick even starts, of course, you have to set it up. And the setup process is actually very easy. You want to grab all of the court cards as well as the 4 aces and put them together in a pile, right? You don't have to have any kind of certain order. You can just put them together in a pile, shuffle them up, whatever you want to do, and just put this on top of the deck and you're all set to go. The main aspect of this trick is going to really be controlling that packet. And if that's something that you can do, you're comfortable with, you can easily do this effect right now. And if that's something you're not comfortable with, you can definitely practice. Some of the moves I'll show in this tutorial will be a bit more on the easier side, so anyone can actually pick this up. And of course, if you're more advanced, feel free to really mess with the handling of it and do what works best for you. Starting the performance now, you take the cards right out of the tuck case, and you want to instill in the spectator's mind that this is a completely shuffled up deck, so you have to shuffle it in front of them. You can't just start as is. So here's what I like to do. I do a controlled overhand shuffle, which looks something like this. I go into the overhand shuffle position, toss over approximately 20 cards, or as long as it's more than 16, you're completely fine. Toss over approximately 20 cards, use your thumb here to in-jog the top card like so, and then continue overhand shuffling the rest of the deck. Right, so this is done, and this is a bit over-exaggerated. Usually it's like this far in, or this far out, not this far out. But just for teaching purposes, I'm going to keep it this far out. So from here, then I come down like this. I get a break above this card. So with my thumb, I push down and forward like so, creating a break here. And then I give the deck 2 cuts. I cut this top packet in half. I'm having a pinky break here, by the way. Cut this top packet in half, put it down on the table. Take this packet here above the break, put that down on the table, put this down on the table. What this is pretty much done is it controls those cards exactly on top where they are. Now, ideally, I like to have some kind of spectator interaction just so the trick doesn't feel boring or it doesn't feel like the spectator is involved. I want to get the spectator involved as much as possible. So I'd like to have them give the deck a cut. Now, ideally, you want this packet of 16 cards to be somewhere near the center. So I have them or almost instruct them in a way, whether through my gesturing or just saying it out loud, to give the deck maybe like a deep cut and pick up a good chunk of cards, cut that over. And now this chunk of cards should be maybe like 15, 16 cards, put that on top of the deck. So now your stack or controlled, 16 cards should be somewhere near the center of the deck. And now you can do exactly as I did in the beginning, where I spread out all these cards. We have those 3 spectators. Again, let's say Billy, Bob, and Joe. One person picks a card from the bottom. One person picks a card from the center. And you really have to know where the center is. So based off where the first spectator cut, you can direct them, pick somewhere from here. You can even have your hands out like this so they know where to select from. Right, so one person selects a card from there, one person selects from the center, and my man Joe selects from somewhere near the top, and you square all these cards up. Now, this is the beauty of this method. It's amazing. You'll see in a second. First card, 4 of clubs. Second card is always going to be now one of the cards that you set up. So in this case, we have the ace of clubs, and the last card is 2 of hearts. Let me do this actually, just to make things a bit easier to visually see. I'm going to change the ace of clubs with the king of diamonds. Right, so these are the 3 cards that were selected. Again, 4 of clubs, king of diamonds, and 2 of hearts. You have them each pick up the card, and you want the king of diamonds put towards the center. So when these cards are all face down, you can just have them stack one card on top of the other, stack these 2 cards on top of this one. So you just want to make sure, again, that second card is sandwiched between those 2 other selections, because this will always be from your stack, while these 2 will be random cards. So this is here. Again, just to kind of play into the performance a bit more, I like to have each of them give the deck a cut, because changing the cut only changes the order of the cards, but doesn't actually mix up the cards themselves. Person number 2 gives the deck a cut, and then person number 3, Joe in this case, is going to lift up a packet of cards, and then these 3 cards are going to be put in here together and smashed like this. Now, logically, if you're thinking through this, and of course, again, the deck can be cut as many times after that, it truly doesn't matter. Sometimes a packet of 3 can get separated, but you're just using your intuition, you'll be able to find it, and I'll talk a bit more about that in a second. So the cards have been cut at this point. What you're doing is you're looking for the face card, or you're looking for the court card, or a card from your stack that has 2 normal cards next to it, or 2 spot cards next to it. And a spot card, of course, 5, 6, 7, 3, 2, whatever it is. So you're looking for a card from that position. You don't see that here. Going through. These are all just spot cards, normal cards. And you're going through. And there you go. We see 1 court card in the king of diamonds. And now it's sandwiched between 2 normal cards. So if you see that anywhere, whether it's between all these normal cards, or if this packet of cards was, between all these face cards, it would still kind of stand out as there's that 1 card that was sandwiched between these 2, and you can quickly pull them out. And this is almost like a supreme instant location type effect. So that's why in my performance, I'm kind of selling the effect of, I have to do this very quickly, giving XYZ reason, right? So I pull off all these 3 cards, and once these 3 cards have been pulled out, I shift them towards a spectator. And what you really want is your entire stack to come back on top of the deck. So you go towards the end of your stack here. So I have my queen of clubs, move this all to the top. The way that I do it, I just separate at this point and just bring them together at this point, or I separate at this point, close this packet down first, then this packet, and you'll see I have my whole stack on top of the deck. Now, of course, the stack can also be somewhere towards the center like this. So if the stack is somewhere towards the center, you do the exact same thing. You can gesture, you can come through here, you can gesture, blah, 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 put everything together. And of course, in that action, you're moving this whole thing to the back. And now we have our stack right back on top of the deck. That's very key because, short story, I did this trick for the first time. I forgot that step, and this trick still worked because I'm just an idiot. And it was like, whoa, this is pure magic. I did the same thing again. Never worked. I bet I read through the book like twice. But anyway, you have the stack moved to the top, and now you can reveal those 3 cards: 2 of hearts, king of diamonds, and 4 of clubs. You can say, now that was impressive, but let's take that a step further. So you take these 3 cards, put them out like this, spread out the cards again, and let's say we want to put the cards back towards the center. Well, we want to put the cards back in the deck. You want to make sure this center card gets returned to the top. Again, this is the court card, or the card from the original stack. This gets returned to the top, so I just take 1 card from the edge, put that somewhere in the center or somewhere on the bottom. Second card somewhere in the center, and of course last card, that is going to be the, I guess, second card that was selected, the court card from your stack. Put it somewhere near the top. Square everything up, and now you can pretty much do exactly as I did, but let's just quickly walk through that. We can get rid of 1 spectator. We only need 2 cards selected now. We have what's the guy's name? Billy and Bob. We have Billy go ahead, take off a stack of cards. You want to make sure this is less than 16 cards, otherwise this could lead to an issue, right? So he picks up some number of cards and shuffles it all up. Now keep in mind, this is all going to be face cards. So we'll see how that logic works later on. This is all going to be face cards. And let's just say his bottom card is Queen of Clubs. As he's shuffling, as Billy's shuffling, Bob's gonna now give the deck a cut. And the reasoning for that is we want to make sure that Bob's packet does not contain any cards from our stack. So when I ask Bob to give the deck a cut, I tell him it's because I don't want to know any of the top cards, bottom cards. So you should give the deck a cut. And now this is gonna be all normal cards, right? All spot cards. Whatever packet he picks up and starts shuffling, these are all normal cards. So this is shuffled, and let's say his card now is a 5 of hearts. So Billy's card is a Queen of Clubs. We put that down. What's the guy's name? Bob's card is a 5 of hearts. We put that down as well. And now you can kind of see where this is logically being built into. We can call Joe back up. Joe can give the deck as many cuts as he'd like. Again, because cutting does not change the, just not mix up the cards, just changes the order, right? Cards, again, are mixed up. Now, as you go through, of course, you truly don't know what the cards are, but you know that there's going to be a large stack of face cards. And the first card in that large stack of face cards, let's see as we go through, the first card in that large stack of face cards, which you can see is right here, is going to be the first spectator selection. So, of course, we know it was Queen of Clubs. Instantly take that out. And the last card, or the card after the last card from that giant initial stack selection, is going to be the second spectator selected card. So I pull that out as well. And of course, there's also going to be another small stack of the face cards or the stack cards that we initially had set up, but this is going to be much smaller than the large stack. So just make sure you're looking for the large stack as doing this. And keep in mind, these stacks can also be kind of cut front and back. So if you feel like that's a bit more difficult for you, you can always give the deck 1 more cut and then continue with the effect. So here we have those 2 cards. You just do a nice slow reveal and just say you are the Location Supreme Master. In this video, there was a fairly heavy focus on overhand shuffle controls, so if that's something you really want to get better at, check out this mini masterclass that I put together. You're gonna love it. As always, a huge shout out to all my Patreon producers, and thank you, love you, see you soon.